Yeah, gonna go fishing, gonna get some food.
Hello there, Tetranadon. I heard you tried to swallow a friend of mine.
No, I've never heard of Azeroth. Oh, shit.
Okay.
Wait, no, please, back in the...
Okay, seriously, the turf wars in Rise are insane. It wasn't just a fluke to have Tetranadon try and swallow an absolutely psychopath mode Azeroth. It just keeps getting better and better and better. Like, the monster design so far in Rise has been exemplary. I cannot remember the last time on the approach of a new Monster Hunter game I have liked essentially every new monster this much. So to see them represented in such breathtaking turf war that absolutely blows everything in World and Iceborne out the water, oh, I am a happy, excited hunter. But without further ado then, I mean, look at this! Is that not just, like, what words can I even contribute to what you just witnessed? Goss Harag just literally piles on top of Tetranadon and beats the soul out of him. It's absolutely brutal.
Why won't you die?
And normally I'd be like, oh, he's not using his icy blade. I really, it's kind of sad when they don't let a monster use its signature weaponry in a turf war. Like
Brachydios, who doesn't even get to use Slimer explosions in any of his turf wars.
But in this case, I think it works wonderfully because it shows you just how powerful Goss Harag is. Tetranadon is beneath him. He doesn't need the icy blade. He has just got the raw strength. They are about equivalent in size, yet Goss Harag, with one solid smack, sent Tetranadon absolutely reeling. And Tetranadon, as we all are aware, is a very chunky boy. The strength behind this is ludicrous, and honestly, it makes me want to see what happens when a Goss Harag turf wars with a Rajang. Which is entirely possible, something we're going to see, because we have Rajang. I just, it's so exciting. It is so exciting. Now then, looking at this turf war, well, who wins? Now you might be immediately like, well, obviously, Goss Harag wins. Are you kidding me? Tetranadon is literally desperately scrabbling away at the island, like,
Oh, please, I want to live. Oh, God.
after desperately last-ditch effort expelling a blast of water and gravel to get Goss Harag off him. But the thing is, if we go by World and Iceborne turf war logic, the loser of a given turf war ends up on the floor for the hunter to get some 3 stabby time, whereas this case is more like when it's a draw in World and Iceborne and both monsters kind of get up, shake themselves off, and move on with their lives. Goss Harag just having a little bit, well, I guess thanks for the bath, and Tetranadon desperately trying to escape this goddamn bear demon. And this is much better. It's much more cinematic, it's much more realistic to them as animals, it's much more just purely cool to see than just a generic, flailing on the ground animation as if we'd just tripped them normally. But it does raise the question then of who technically won as far as the game's concerned. Or I guess maybe the game isn't even concerned, they just want to show a cool fight. I am very curious to see damage numbers when we actually experience this in game. I am inclined to believe that Tetranadon takes an absolutely boatload of damage and then Goss Harag maybe just a little tiny bit as he gets blasted off. I cannot imagine that these guys are in the same class of difficulty at all. It just can't be. So that said then, more dynamic turf wars that are less about giving the hunter a free opportunity to attack the monster and more about just witnessing badass battles, I'm all for that. We have Wyvern riding for monster fights that lead to damage opportunities, so why not have the flavor of just witnessing two brutal beasts battling? I, for one, am all about that. Even the original Tetranadon Azeroth, and by the way, Tetranadon is very fighty. He is a kind of, well, draw. Obviously, Azeroth nearly gets swallowed, but they're very much, you know, trading blows and going at each other. The only turf war out of the grand total of 3 that we've seen that seems very much more one-sided is, you know, kind of the sort of Rathalos returning agency.
I'm just checking. Has anybody lost a Rathalos?
Lost a Rathalos? I mean, maybe. Can I see it?
Sure!
Oh, that Rathalos! No, it's not mine.
Oh, well, sorry to waste your time then.
No problem, goodbye. What a nice guy.
Which, don't get me wrong, is amazing. Like, how just dynamic is that turf war? It's not this very limited, small space using set of animations that they take turn playing. They actually are fighting in Rise. It is a constant onslaught by both creatures. They're not just kind of getting in position, okay, you go, okay, now I go, okay, one of us wins. It really speaks of more an actual, you know, straight up battle, and I am just so in love with that. But it does seem Magnamalo straight up beats Rathalos here, like he wrangles him out the sky and smashes him into the ground. There is no real indication that Rathalos has done anything of note to the Magnamalo, which is interesting because normally flagships that aren't Elder Dragons are all kind of projected as equal-ish in strength and power, whereas this Magnamalo, despite being a fanged wyvern, is clearly above something like Rathalos, so it'd be very interesting to see how he interacts with the likes of Tigrex, or Zinogre if Zinoga's in the game, or, you know, that kind of level of monster. In any case, only 3 turf wars then, and one thing I will say about them is they use so much more space. Because the Rise environments are much less cluttered and detailed than Worlds, they're much more open, just arenas, the monsters can really throw each other around them. Like, just the amount of ground purely that this Goss Harag Tetranadon has, the smack initially, the huge roll, the break apart, like, there is a lot of area being used. Same with the Rathalos and the Magnamalo. I mean, they fly so high into the sky, higher than Rathalos ever does for any of his normal attacks. Like, they really are using the space to sell this epic titanic clash of, well, epic titans. And I just needed to do something along the lines of, guys, look at this, you've probably seen it, but God, let's get excited about it together. And that's exactly what this is. Turf Wars and Rise seem to be just moments of pure spectacle. I imagine they will be rarer, I imagine there might be fewer of them, but each time one happens, you are really going to want to enjoy it. Because don't get me wrong, watching a Devil Joe flip a Diablos is cool. Watching a Devil Joe beam battle with an Elder Dragon is cool. But it's a single moment, right? It's a single instance. It's not so much as a turf war as a turf attack. And I think that's the difference going forward into Rise. The war part is really being exemplified, and you're actually having a proper, elongated, no-holds-barred scrap between the monster where they actually use the things that make them powerful. I will be very surprised if Goss Harag isn't even a few more battles where the Ice Sword does come into play, and indeed he does turn his flush red and get really into it. Tetranadon is just a little bit too beneath him. Just imagine what else there's gonna be. Literally any turf war involving the new spider monster and the Rappy Web, or even a clean dirty face-off between Mizutsune and Almudron. I mean, who really would win in that situation? But I need to find out. Alright guys, that's pretty much what I have to say. There's not much more to take in here, except just how purely incredible it is. Let me know what you think, like you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I will see you soon. Please consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below. Every little helps more than I know how to say. A goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.